Rain poured heavily that morning as Maya stood outside the tall iron gates of the Mahajan mansion, clutching her small bag to her chest. She had been turned away from 5 jobs already that week, each one leaving her with a little less hope. Her clothes were soaked, her heart weary, but her spirit, fragile as it was, still whispered, "Try again." When the guard finally opened the gate and motioned her inside, she stepped through, unaware that her life, and someone else's, was about to change forever. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unseen beauty in broken souls, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness. Every small act of support helps stories like this one reach more hearts that need them. The Mahajan mansion was breathtaking, with marble floors, chandeliers that sparkled like captured starlight, and silence so deep it felt suffocating. Maya had never seen a home so grand, and yet so hollow. She was hired as a maid, mostly to clean and manage the guest rooms. The head maid, a strict woman named Mrs. Buttra, barely looked at her when giving instructions. "Do your work quietly," she said coldly. "And stay away from the 3rd floor. That's Mr. Mahajan's daughter's area. You're not to disturb her." Maya nodded obediently, but her curiosity stirred. Who was this daughter everyone avoided? Why did the house feel haunted by something, or someone unspoken? Days passed quietly. Maya did her duties well, washing, sweeping, polishing every corner. The Mahajan family was rarely home except for the CEO himself, Arnab Mahajan, a tall, composed man with eyes that held a sadness deeper than words. He hardly spoke to anyone. The mansion buzzed with workers, yet everyone moved carefully, like they were walking on glass. There were whispers, though. About her. About Anika. Maya heard snippets. "Poor child, something's wrong with her. She doesn't talk much. Mr. Mahajan hides her away. She's not normal." One afternoon, while dusting near the staircase, Maya heard faint humming from upstairs. The melody was soft, almost trembling, but beautiful, like a trapped bird trying to remember freedom. It came from behind a closed door at the end of a long corridor. Despite Mrs. Buttra's warning, something in that voice pulled Maya closer. She peeked through the slightly open door and saw a small girl, perhaps 12 or 13, sitting on the floor surrounded by sheets of paper. She was drawing vivid bursts of color, flowers, and shapes, yet none of the drawings had people in them. Her dark hair fell over her face, and her hands moved in small repetitive motions. Maya realized this was Anika, the daughter everyone ignored. There was something fragile about her, like glass that had already cracked too many times. Maya whispered softly, "That's a beautiful drawing." The girl froze. Then, without looking up, she pushed the paper away and covered her ears. Maya's heart clenched. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "I didn't mean to scare you." Before she could say more, Mrs. Buttra appeared, furious. "What did I tell you? Stay away from her." She grabbed Maya's arm and dragged her out. "That girl doesn't like strangers. Don't ever go near her again if you want to keep your job." That night, Maya lay awake in her small room at the back of the mansion. She couldn't stop thinking about the girl with haunted eyes and trembling hands. The world might have turned away from her, but Maya knew what it felt like to be unseen. She had lost her mother when she was 12, left to care for her younger siblings. She had worked in houses where no one learned her name. To be invisible, she thought, was worse than being poor. So she decided quietly that she would not ignore that little girl, no matter what the rules said. The next morning, Maya found small ways to leave small tokens near Anika's door: a flower, a folded paper crane, a cookie wrapped in tissue. No one else noticed, but one afternoon she saw that the paper crane she had left was gone. The next day, another small drawing appeared outside the door: a blue butterfly. Maya smiled. Anika had answered. Over time, their silent exchange grew. Flowers for butterflies, notes for colors. Until one day, when Maya left a small note saying, "Would you like to be my friend?" she found, in return, a drawing of 2 stick figures holding hands. One wore a maid's dress. The other had a pink dress and a heart between them. That was the day Maya cried quietly in the hallway. Weeks passed, and one afternoon, while everyone was downstairs preparing for a corporate dinner, Maya heard faint music drifting from the 3rd floor. She followed it and found Anika standing in the middle of the room, swaying awkwardly to a slow tune playing from an old cassette player. Her eyes were closed, her movements stiff, yet there was a strange grace in the way she tried to follow the rhythm. Maya stood watching until Anika opened her eyes and froze, terrified. Maya smiled gently and stepped forward, whispering, "That's a lovely song. May I dance with you?" Anika stared at her for a long moment, then shook her head quickly, her breathing uneven. But Maya didn't move away. She just held out her hand and said softly, "You don't have to be perfect. Just feel the music." For a moment, the world seemed to stop. Then, hesitantly, Anika placed her small, trembling hand in Maya's. Together they began to move slowly, awkwardly, in circles. At first, it was more like walking than dancing, but as the song played on, Anika began to smile, a wide, unguarded smile that transformed her face completely. For the first time, Maya saw light in her eyes. What neither of them knew was that Mr. Mahajan had come upstairs to get his phone and stood frozen at the doorway, watching his daughter laugh, something he hadn't seen in years. His throat tightened. When the song ended, Maya let go and bowed playfully. "You're a wonderful dancer," she whispered. Anika giggled, clapping her hands. "Dance with me again," she said softly, her words careful but clear. Maya gasped. It was the first time she had heard her speak. Tears filled her eyes as she nodded. "Always." That night, when everyone was asleep, Mr. Mahajan sat in his study staring at an old photo, his wife, holding a baby Anika. His wife had died in an accident when Anika was 4, and ever since, he had buried himself in work, thinking money could protect his daughter from the world's cruelty. But all he had really done was build walls so high that love couldn't reach her. The next morning, he called Maya into his office. She feared she was going to be fired, but instead, he simply said, "You made her smile. I haven't seen her do that in years." His voice trembled. "What did you do?" Maya lowered her head. "I just asked her to dance." From that day forward, Mr. Mahajan began spending more time with his daughter. He watched her drawings, sat beside her at breakfast, even joined her and Maya during their small dance sessions. Slowly, laughter began to return to the mansion. The servants stopped whispering. Mrs. Buttress softened. The silence that once haunted the house began to fade, replaced by music, color, and warmth. Anika began talking more. Her words were simple, sometimes tangled, but they were hers, and each one was a miracle. She drew people now. Smiling ones. Dancing ones. A family of months passed, and one bright morning, Mr. Mahajan organized a charity event for children with autism, inspired by his daughter's progress. The mansion's grand hall was decorated with fairy lights and flowers. Anika insisted that Maya dance with her on stage. Maya hesitated, but Anika tugged her hand and whispered, "Please." When the music started, the crowd fell silent. A maid and a CEO's daughter, two souls from completely different worlds, moved together in perfect rhythm. It wasn't about perfection. It was about connection. Love. Acceptance. The audience watched, tears shining in many eyes, as the little girl spun, laughed, and reached out for life again. After the performance, Mr. Mahajan came to Maya with tears in his eyes. "You've done what no doctor, no teacher, no therapist could do," he said. "You brought my daughter back to me. How can I ever thank you?" Maya smiled. "Just keep dancing with her, sir." From that day on, Maya was no longer treated as a maid. She became part of the family, Anika's caregiver, friend, and most importantly, her safe place. Years later, when Anika graduated from a special art school, she gave her first painting to Maya, a beautiful portrait of two dancers under sunlight, their hands touching in mid-spin. The painting was titled "The Day I Learned to Feel." And in that moment, Maya knew that her small act of kindness had changed not just one life, but many.